Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I'm happy to be back on It's Monday, and it's already the 29th of September, 3 a.m. Eastern. Now, I've been talking about the 2 a.m. move a lot of the times, and again, I was busy. I'm still eating my breakfast, so mind me if I take a bite here and there. I just need to get something in my belly. But I managed to get into this trade and just let it run while I still have my TP here. It was a beautiful. I'm gonna make a video about it today. Look here. It made the manipulation move. AMD, right? Accumulation, manipulation, and then at 2 we have the last sweep at 7 plus 2. 2 plus 7 is 9. 369, guys. Very important numbers, and then the distribution. And I believe we have a new range now. So yeah, I got in on the 5-minute. Let me show you. I was busy. I just had to stop. I changed the state of delivery here. I got in this candle, boom, and then rode it all the way back up where you see TP. That's my stop. 2 a.m. Beautiful delivery again. I've been bullish for quite a while because higher time frame we're still bullish. We're still on a buy model. I was quite surprised Friday. I took the Friday move to the upside because I've been bullish all the time, and it was sort of like really stalling on Thursday and I believe even Wednesday. I can't really remember, but even Friday in the morning, right? It was still quite fickle, and then it made that move to the upside, but not as much as I thought. But I still caught the nice move after lunch. So it was a lunch move again. Not a typical TGIF, not at all. But yeah. Interesting market, and yeah, we're going up. I mean, I'm still very bullish for the day. We might have an inside day on Monday. Let me rephrase, not bullish for the day, I'm bullish for the week, until we hit the let me see, higher time frame levels. Just have a look. I wouldn't be surprised we're going to over all-time highs because we got double, everything is like equal high. So we have like beautiful 25,251-ish, 2,590-ish levels. So we've got a lot of liquidity on the upside. So we might get because it's Monday, right? It might be a retrace. We might retrace into the range of Friday and before we head up. But extremely bullish again for the week. Awesome. I'm just look on the daily. If you look at the daily, right? If you look on the daily candles, every retracement, every down day was basically a retracement, or just it is not. It was. I can imagine that it caused a lot of Mm. Now let's see. We have SMT with we don't have any SMT because we're both on moved on the 15-minute high. Now I was almost planning to also take this short, but then I was like, let me just focus on getting online and beautiful, just beautiful. So it's 3:07 now. So let's see if it respects the OTE levels of this range. Or do we have a larger range in this? You see there's a wick here. So I just use this range, this here as my daily range. My current range that I'm calculating from is this one to this one. So why? My question is it going to use this wick as a rejection? Like you see on the higher time frame, right? On the daily, you see exactly the same. Look, every time is fractal. Just look at these candles here. Let me just get rid of this, okay? For now, I want to show you something, how fractal it is. Now look at this candle formation. 1, 2, and then you have the wick and then these candles. Now we're going to the daily again. This is the 15-minute, right? Yeah, this is the 15-minute. Now let's go to the daily. Keep this in mind, the 1, 2, 3 candle. Now you see this is a 4 candle formation, but again this wick, and then you go into this wick to go back up. It's all fractal. So basically on the higher time frame, you can already see, you know, it went into this wick and then it goes back up. And on the 15 minutes, you will see happening. It's almost, you will see this. You will see it will mimic. It sort of like goes, because it's fractal. If it happens on a higher time frame, you can see it trickle down on the lower time frames a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised that it's just going to bounce into the OTE levels and then go back up. Well, let's see. I'll go back to the lower time frame. You see here we have a breaker on the 5 minutes. See if it doesn't go below this breaker. Let me mark it. This could be another one. So if I'm bullish, I try to just stay in my, just to take the bullish trades. You see what's going on here? Beautiful. We're getting back into the old nice behavior again. I mean, I love to. The market's finally being a little bit nicer again to us, right? That's because you see it's respecting the breaker. Boom. Sweep. Finish at 3 past 10. Hey, Matrixie, how are you? I'm doing great. I just managed to get the. Oh, don't worry. I know everybody's busy. The market is behaving beautifully this morning. I managed to get the 2 a.m. move. I'm going to make a short about it this day because And I was just saying like, hey, this is going to be a nice long from here, from this area, because it's most likely going to reject in the brick. I'm going to take a long anyway. I mean, I'm going to take it, and with my part over here, I'm just going to. I So yeah, I'm so happy with this move. September, the high was 841. Yeah. Okay, so we took out the move up. So you took a loss on that short, right? Because you wanted to go into it, but it didn't take out the um, external high yet. Now it did. So the question is it going higher or is it going to retrace back into your 4-hour fair value gap and then go back further up? So you're just too early. But hey, it's gonna go there. That's the story of my life. I'm always, I've been like, so now it took that day high. So it took external liquidity. It took the 4-hour, 24th of September, 10 o'clock 4-hour candle. So external, and now it goes from external to internal, and that is most likely that 4-hour fair value gap. So yeah, let's see. Because we have equal highs on the 4-hour as well, a little bit higher. So we just have to see now. I'm sorry, guys. We just have to see if it's going to go higher or is it going to retrace into the 4-hour fair value gap first and then take out that those equal highs. It looks very bullish still. Well, But you see how it's respecting the OTE levels, right? So we're still in a buy program. Um, so if you're bullish on the higher time frame, you can still expect moves to the downside, right, on the lower time frame, because those are just retracements. So if I say I'm bullish on the higher time frame, that means I prefer to take longs because I want to take the distribution moves. But we saw that last week, right, that we had quite a bit of down movement as well. But those were technically just retracements. I think we're just going to go higher now, but I'm just a little bit careful. Let me see. This is actually a nice move, though. This wasn't. I got out again, but 323. Yeah, we're going to get continuation. So. Yeah, there was an annual fee, but also just you need to take you have to wait for external liquidity to be taken before going into the internal, right? So really, try to think of it. FTGs is considered internal liquidity, so before it goes back into the 4-hour internal, you want a 4-hour external liquidity to be taken first. Now it did take that, but the question is it going to take more before heading into that FTG? So it's not like, oh my God, it just took that one, that was it Wednesday, September? And then, it makes its move up, but then it's respecting this breaker at the moment and now going back up. So I think it's going to go for those, go back to the daily. Take this away. It might go for these now, right? Instead of, see, it took. Now, technically, it didn't even take out a daily high, but it took out a 4-hour high. But maybe it needs to take out this high first before it goes into that 4-hour. See, I was looking at these here, this one here, but I think it's going to go for these now. We are bullish. We are so bullish. Okay. Yeah. So Monday, I call it ping pong Monday, right? So what I would love to see, because I wouldn't be surprised we're gonna get an inside day because being Monday, right? Obviously we're bullish, but it could just ping pong between NWOGs, and so it can go down and lower into the range. I don't know where's this week's. I don't see this week's NWOG. Did we not make an NWOG this week? Looks like it. That's really weird. I don't see this week's NWOG, but okay. So what I do see is we have an NWOG here, and then we have event horizon. So that's the midpoint. Oh, we do have an NWOG, very small one, I guess. No. Or is it considered an NWOG? Let me just. Yeah, it is. Okay, we've got it. Okay, there he is. I've got it. So we're rejecting off the NWOG, and then we have midnight, right? And then below at 24,789, there's an event horizon. So that's the mid between this week's NWOG and where we're now. So if we're going to have my ping pong Monday, have those levels on your screen and you'll see if it's going to be an inside day, it's going to use these levels and it will ping pong. If you see it goes to the event horizon and then back to the upside, you know where it's going. But if it goes to the downside to today's end walk, it just doesn't seem, I don't know, but it's a really small range. Let's see what it does. But keep those end walks and maybe also one lower on your chart and these event horizons, so the midpoints between them. And then you'll see if it goes from the end, if you can establish the order flow and you see it's bouncing off an event horizon and you know it's going lower, then keep those end walks, the first available end walk, the 21 September. Yeah, it's now the 21 September, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's rejected beautifully from the midpoint. Um, we could get consolidation now, right? Look here. I'll have my trading view charts back in a few days. This is a beautiful rejection here. It looks bullish to me though, still. I think we're still going higher, to be honest. What do you think? And you wanted to go back first into the range before going. We're also in a bearish order block on the high on the 4 hours, so I would also say, listen, we have to go down first, but then again, I don't know. It just seems so bullish at the moment. I think it's going to go consolidation for a while. But hey, yeah. So if you combine those, so the event, I'm going to write down all these levels. So, okay. I'm just wondering if it's going to blast through the end walk, or is it just going to hit the low? So it hit the midpoint, right? Then we have a rejection here. We have a rejection on the 15th. See this. I want to see how it's going to react at the when it reaches the end walk. Let me mark it. I'll draw the end walk here. So is it going to go blast through the end walk, or is it just going to reject from here? So basically, it has the same. It's exactly the same almost as the N word. Um, okay, 314. Nine 13. Yeah. I just don't want to be caught in consolidation. That's the only thing I'm just a little bit worried about. But it's so bullish. 920. I'm getting in. I'm gonna take a little bit of a risk here. I'm gonna put my stop here. Right below this wick here. Now, where's my 2.3? We're still 8 minutes before macro, so well, we hit the weekly a weekly open range. So, and if it doesn't reject from there straight away, normally when you have like a level like that, and it's going to be a rejection from it, you'll see much more movement to the downside already. We just don't see it. So, and we're above N-word now. We moved above it. Yeah, 887. My TP will be at 24,887. I might run higher, but it's okay. I'm gonna take the low hanging fruit. Oh, are you going down? See, that's always because it's too early. But I don't want to go below this group. 24,887. If it stops me out, it stops me out. That means my stop wasn't. Then it means this is not a protected low. That invalidates the trade at all.
Stop filled.
Okay, thank you. Okay, okay. You don't want to have two good trades in the morning, right? That's okay. That's okay. We still know what you're doing. It's so funny. I just when I said, yeah, normally the weekly high, it just it goes down to the answer, but it just has delayed movement again. So okay, now yeah, yeah. For instance, for value gap, let's see how it reacts. We left equal highs again on the 5 minute here. We've got a beautiful fair value gap here. And the macro again, I got in before the macro, right? And then I got stuck. I'm always punished when I do that. Sometimes when you get like these moves, when it's in initial startup that you can do that, but not when you're halfway or you just get you get taken out by your retracement because the macro hasn't started. Or you have to have an entry before a fair value gap, but you don't know that this is going to form. But I should have seen this on the 5. If I would have seen it, I would not have entered because then you would anticipate if it goes higher that it will go back into that fair value gap first, right? Common sense. So punished for impatience. That's good. I mean, now I could get in here and then put my stop here. So this one is my interest now.
Order filled.
Macros coming. Now I'm aware that the 4 o'clock is coming, so I'm a little bit. The only thing I'm thinking, is it going to use the manipulation move of the 4 o'clock candle, the 1 hour candle to the upside, or are we going to stall and then make the move up? So normally I wait until 4 o'clock. So I'm a little bit impatient today, so you'll see me getting punished for impatient behavior. So that's good. That teaches me. um, because 4 o'clock always comes with volatility. So if we don't have to move now, we're in the middle of the end walk. So what I'm thinking is maybe I use the first half of the macro to go to the upside. And then the second half, maybe it's done, or we'll see. So this, I was hoping it will make a large move, but I wanted to go out of the end walk. This is the end walk level. Just a micro. Getting warmed up for the AM session. It's Monday. We had weekend. Yeah, it needs to get out of the end walk, otherwise I'm killing the tree. You want to see a body close above this one here, right? Oh, just wicking. Are you kidding me? And walk. NQ and walk? Yes, NQ and walk. 4 o'clock is a very important time. See, that's in the start of a macro, and you see the first 3 candles like this. You just, you know, it's better just to, if you want to run in the macro, just wait until the next part of the macro either, or if you're willing to sit to the drawdown, that's fine if you know where it's going. But for me, also we're in this envelope area, so it's a little bit critical area. And obviously we hit a weekly high, but I think it's still going to go to 887. But anyone else has another idea on the market? See how it's just not moving all the way, it's just making, even though it's making wicks outside the envelope, right? So let's see what it does it for. My favorite time of the day. Well, not really, but to have on my chart. Has anyone seen Zusi's new video on 369? That is something that I do on the background a lot. The whole markets are just, well, it's not it's just the algo that is scripted against time, right? And then it uses a specific mathematical sequence. It's so interesting. I mean, if you start looking, it's like a rabbit hole, though, to be honest. When you start looking into it, it's like a crazy rabbit hole. But yeah, I can definitely recommend Susie's last video on 369. I think he named it 369. But I think he cracked the code, to be honest. Yeah, I think he knows. I guess Enigma, right? That's the Enigma. Hey, 4 o'clock almost. 1 minute to 4. There's so much more to time than only the macros. That's the point I wanted to make actually with the I'm sorry. Okay, 4 a.m. I don't like the class action, so I'm going to take one off.
Order filled.
You see? I don't like it. Come on, go. Why? 403. You see? It's really fickle. Getting out.
Order filled.
I don't like it. There's no follow through. You know, it might go there. It might go into this little. There's a little tiny gap here. This drawing is gonna go here. Still another 10 points to make. This is the edge. See, the best move really was at 2 a.m. move right again. And then again at 3 a.m. we had a beautiful. So this move, I'm gonna make I'm gonna do a video about it today. And this one was a little bit, you know, because it's outside America, but it's still. So yeah, it's you can expect a little bit of choppy, 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 choppy. It's gonna go to at least this level here for sure. I wanted to do, and I guess it comes with just that's why I also paper trade a lot around um, also to get into this kind of price action and to feel the differences, and especially around macro time when you see specific behavior, like when it does certain things, you just know, okay, I have to get out. It's not going to do the run in this macro, or it's just going to stall. And you see me do that a lot, and I don't really mind. Like, okay, I'm just gonna kill the trade, even if it doesn't hit my stop loss, or and I get out. And again, I'm like, okay, it was a good move because it's not running, right? It's just stalling. And even though it's going up a little bit, I don't want to be in this, to be honest. So for me, I am really happy with my 2 a.m. move. I've been tracking this quite a bit now, and I wasn't on stream, but I did take it, and I'm gonna make a video on it after I kill the stream here, because I think it's really important for people to start looking into it. Because there's money to be made. And then we had, a little bit of a retracement, and then again the 3 a.m. move. But it was after macro, right? So this one is a little bit harder to catch, I guess. And then we have another opportunity here, into this little fair, not really in the fair value gap, but anyway. But you see, it just stalls really here, and then you have to be in and out. And I would rather wait for the low distribution, the fast ones, just that they run. And now it's just creating liquidity, right, for later on. So that's good. I'm very bullish again, still on the higher time frame, and we're just going enough, enough money to be made in London, and it can help you if you have a good trade in London. You're not so eager to trade in the AM session, right? And if there weren't any trades, you have a lot of information for the AM session, which will come in handy again, right? Anyone else had a trade in London already? So I managed to get this 2 AM move. I saw the turn here. So the macro was pure AMD, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So I saw the manipulation move going into the macro, and then I waited for the turn, and then there was the distribution. This was the move that I took, and I got in somewhere around here, somewhere around this area here, and then I wrote it up to here, somewhere around here. why. That's why it's time. 4:28 now. Now we've got a couple of scenarios for today. We could have an inside day, so then we ping pong between the envelopes, right? So I'm just thinking, we could have a trending day as well, because we've been quite suppressed, if that's the way to put it, because we've created equal highs, and so I'm just wondering, like, okay, so I'm just going to see, I'm going to go over scenarios like, what if we have an inside day? So then we use the envelopes and the event horizons, right? So then we ping pong and we go back into Friday's range. That's one scenario. So we take out, for example, an all weekly high, or we go a little bit higher, like say between 887 and 900, somewhere around here. We take external liquidity, we go back into the range to internal liquidity. So that could be like, for example, the 4-hour FUG, right? That's one scenario. Then we just might futz around. I love the pink and black. I might have to change. Oh, you like? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Emily. I'm happy to have a female here. I was waiting. I just started this channel, and this weekend I was actually waiting. I have such a nice group already. I'm just starting out, and it's my first subscribers. And I was like, I miss having females actually in my chat. And now you're the first female here. Well, actually the second, but welcome. Yeah, I think it's nice, right? It's a little bit different. I normally have Trading View, but it'll be back in a few days though. But I thought, let me just, pump it up. I just make it a little bit nicer. It's cute, right? Yeah, I think it matches my my profile picture as well, because it's also pinkish. So I thought, let me stay in between. Yeah. How are you doing, Emily? Do you trade NQ? So I'm thinking it's going to take external liquidity now. I have 887 as a level, but I just don't like this price. So I'm just staying out. I took the 2 a.m. move. I'm going to make a video on that today, because I've just noticed that in London, this move happens a lot. So I'm just going to go make a tiny little video on that. So yeah. Because normally it's at around 8 a.m. ish London, so technically London it's like pre-market London, but it's like our pre-market, right? So that's one. And yeah, I'm still higher time frame, very bullish, but I'm just wondering if it's Monday. We don't have any news today. So we could have an inside day, but we also could have a trend day. I mean, we've seen it, right? But then again, I would say it's going to take out some liquidity external and go back into the range to internal. Let me see, Monday. Do you have any luck? You know, 4 o'clock does bring some volatility a lot of the times, but then again, we have a good 2 a.m. move, we had a good 3 a.m. move. Actually, it was 10 past 3 move. So obviously, it will go into consolidation at some point. yeah, I'm just not interested in a 10 point. If I'm like taking low hanging fruit, 887 was my level. But you know, it started consolidating here. I was trying to take the 4 a.m. 10 to 4, 10 after macro, but then it already had this move, and then I thought, okay, there might be continuation, but then it got into consolidation. I got out, and we're still here. We're still here half an hour later, and just watching my pink and black candles. How cute they are. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I'm just, you know, Mondays can be really good days, guys. I mean, even though it would be an inside day, if you put the NWOGs on your chart and the event horizon, and you start looking how they are in the ranges, it defines your range sometimes. And for me, I can have pretty good trades in AM session when it's inside day, when you just manage to look at those NWOGs, and especially we have one below us, right? We have actually now all of them are below us. But if you will go back into the range, use them to your advantage, because and don't forget to put on the event horizon. It's the midpoint of it, because once you see it goes to the event horizon, and then it goes either to another one or it goes back to the same one. And yeah, just put them on your if you have TradingView, go back in the past and look at it. I've been a beginner trader. I've been paper trading and getting confident with my trades, and also want to lose. I'm wanting to be profitable for 3 months. Any advice? You want to be profitable for 3 months? You mean you want to be profitable in 3 months, or you want to be profitable for 3 months in a row? I think that's awesome that you've been paper trading and getting confident, and learning how to lose is the most important thing. Being just okay to be wrong. It's not discipline. It's biology. I made a video on that, by the way, because I was like really surprised. Like, even though at some point I reached a certain level, and I was like, okay, I have my technical knowledge. You know, I've done my testing, and I've got a model that is solid. I can live off it. But then still, I fell on that trap, and I was like, and I also heard other traders, and I'm like, you know what they're doing, and they're really good. And then I started getting, you know. Did some research on that, and then I simplified the knowledge, and I put it in the video, like how our brain works when you have a losing trade. And yeah, I named it. I made it 3 weeks ago. I think the overtrading trap, revenge trading, explained the brain. The brain science behind overtrading, but it's not only overtrading. It's the same with revenge trading, overtrading, losing trade. It's just what happens with your brain when you have a losing trade. And it's so interesting, because I was like, I'm disciplined. I know what you know, and I'm like, I'm consistently profitable, but yet sometimes I still fall in that trap. And what's happening here? Why? You know, I just didn't get it. You see, that's why I don't like this. It's just waking up and sticking out very. It might go a little bit higher now, but I don't want to do this. But it is not discipline only, it's really biology. And the markets are designed around that, right? To make you behave in that specific way. So, and prop firms are also, you know, they're super territorial. So you have to also like remember that even though they say they are there to help you, but obviously they want to make money for you to buy as much, you know, evaluations and stuff like that. Yeah, and then even the moment that you become profitable, you'll see like, oh, you're profitable, and suddenly, you know, you have like a 1 or 2 months that you're not profitable, and you start getting profitable. So it goes up and down, and because markets change as well. But yeah, no, you do. I mean, it sounds awesome that you are paper trading, getting confident. What do you every time I put in a stop loss, I will move it. I will move it. Really ridiculous thinking about it, going back in time. Yeah. But I just started this channel, by the way, a month ago, a little bit longer now, maybe 5 weeks by now, and also one of my goals is especially bringing females into the space. You know, females that think, you know, it's not for me or whatever, and I really want to focus on that as well. But I haven't really, you know, I'm just been busy with getting everything up and running. But yeah, I think it's very important that more females come into the space. But actually, they say females we have better risk management. We are risk averse, and the females that I know trade really, really well. I wasn't as I didn't have that good risk management before when I just started, because like I said, I couldn't lose. I hate being wrong, so I just didn't have a stop loss. And now I don't trade without anymore. So yeah. But yeah, welcome. I'm happy to see you here, and maybe I can help you. Let me know if you want any. I've been a trading coach as well for a platform, by the way. So I've done some trading coaching as well. I just try to do it just broadly on the channel, but I think if people are really shy, let me just put in the email. If you have any questions you don't want to put, just that's why I started this channel. To help others. I mean, we're here to grow together, right? If I can help it and model, I'm more than happy to do so. That makes this for me fun to do. If you wanna reach out and have any questions you don't want to put in the chat, feel free to reach out. Now it's trickling up a little bit. I think we're going to have a nice day today, even though it might be an inside day or could be a trend day as well. But on the other hand, midnight, let me see, we have quite a large range now to the upside. So yeah, 888-ish is still on my 888. I think we're going to trickle up another 9 points, so that will be 888-ish. And then let's see what happens. But yeah, I just started doing the AM session as well. I was a little bit shy at the beginning. So when I was working for the program, I was on YouTube with other coaches, and my supervisor there, the lady that was taking care of the coach, she said you should start your own. I said no, I can't do that because now I'm talking with the coaches. We're talking with the chat as well, but we were with 3 other coaches, 4 of us online. But she pushed me really to do so. She said just do it. You do it. And so I did actually, because I wanted more freedom in what I could say, what I could do, and my training style was a little bit different than what they were doing. So that's why I started by myself. And at first I was a little bit not shy, in the sense I'm not shy to speak, but more also not really insecure. But yeah, there's so many good people already in the space, and so. But then again, I thought, no, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go also on the AM session, because they're different. Everybody trades different. Everybody has something else to offer, and so yeah. And I really enjoy the journey and connecting to other people and basically helping other people speed up. I learned for free from ICT, so I believe I should pass it on for free as well. That's how it should work, right? So anyway. And I love to. I've been journaling extensively and studying the algo, and found out some really interesting things. So I really love to share, and if I can speed up people's progress, I love to do that. So, but not for lazy. Now, really, people really need to. You can tell them whatever you want, but if they really don't want to put in the work themselves to study it, it doesn't really. It's really crazy because sometimes you share some stuff and it's really valuable, and then next time I'm like, okay, I shared it, but nobody sees it, and they just didn't register it, whatever. But anyway, I stick to two for my SFP and. ICT is pretty complex, so that's important in general. ICT is actually not so complex, to be honest. It's a lot. If you go through his, okay, so this is the thing about ICT. When you go through the core content and mentorship 2022, he talks a lot, right? The videos are very long, but the concepts themselves are not that complicated, to be honest. But then again, he gets a lot of extra information, and it's like he weaves it in because he doesn't want to make it too easy for the lazy people, right? So that's the point. But this is how I see. For content, everybody has to go. If you're ICT trader, you have to go through it. You have to hear it one time from him, and yes, it takes time. But then, I don't know if you know T Trades. He has an awesome channel, and I think he's the best after ICT himself. He just makes ICT topics very compact and very short and very. So if you have a specific, like a breaker, I trade the breaker a lot. Breaker and rejection blocks. Those are my two. Those I use a lot in my analysis. So I use a lot of wicks, which can perform, which give me information like where is it going to reject from. But once you start, well, I can show you the rejection blocks very easily. And then you'll see, oh my god, is it that simple? And also the breaker is really not so complicated, to be honest. So things like if you focus on one or two, just focus per week on one of those topics that you're interested in, or fair value gap, or the inversion, or whatever. And if you want, I could, if you have specifics that you think, oh, I find that complicated, I wouldn't mind, just to, when we have a session, I could go over some stuff like, okay, this is that block or that breaker block now, and look here what happened here, for example, right? So yeah, let me know. I mean, happy to do so. But yeah, ICT gave me building blocks, so that's for me. I am time based. I add a lot of time in my analysis as well, besides ICT. So, but yeah, good. Stick to only one or two things. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, and journaling, that is so, I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. I'm going to be fully transparent. I didn't put a stop loss in. I didn't journal in the beginning. And then when I got to ICT, is it now 3 years ago? I think it's 3 years ago. Then I'm like, oh my God, look at, everything changed for me. Yeah, and journaling is so important. And everybody reads the market differently. So, people really underestimate the power of journaling. If you start seeing and looking at things, then you see something else. That's where your growth is, and you're losing trades. But anyway, that's yeah. So I guess we're trickling up now to that 8.8, maybe even 8.90ish. Might even go a little bit higher, but yeah. How did you get into trading? So I lived in the Netherlands and I worked for KLM for a while, and then I started. I didn't have time to trade at that time, but I got into. My aunt, she lives in the U.S. and she is like an investment trader. And she used to invest. She was more like. She told me many years back, you should get into trading because you need to buy dividend stocks and blah blah blah. And I said, well, that's so interesting. So I listened to her, and then I started. I bought like a subscription of someone who gave advice, and I think his name was Matt McCall, and I just started looking into it, and it was more swing trading and stuff like that, and options. And from that on, and then COVID came, then obviously we had to work at home, and then I started looking into other things, but then I fell into the retail trap, penny stocks and all that kind of BS. Then I started to get into the better things, market profile, volume profile, TPO, more time-based. And I was getting more serious, and then I moved to South Africa. And I was already like thinking, yeah, I have to make trading my full-time thing now. But then again, I was still in that retail trap, right? And then someone of my group said, yeah, it was ICT. I said, yeah, but it's for free. Is it really something? And then I started going into it and like, oh my God, that is just, I can see the logic and I can really see, it simplified the markets for me. And that's where things started to really change for me very fast. I got profitable after 1.5 years of ICT, but I was studying extensively. Like, I really studied every day for 1.5 years. Now, I don't think everybody needs to. I mean, most people are maybe smarter than I am. I don't know, but I just, for me, it was like I started seeing things, and I see this build. He gives some information; it's building block. But if you start journaling and use the things and listen to what he says, and I had some other mentors as well, and I took some of them. They were more time-based traded, but they were ICT-based as well, because it works. You know, ICT works very well with time because I think his enigma is time. You know, because why is time so important? Because the algo is scripted against time. You cannot script the algo against price, because price can be manipulated, time cannot, right? So that's why time is so important. So anyway, yeah. So when you start adding time elements to the trading, you'll start even seeing more logic to moves. So yeah, it's now, let's say 2.5 or 3. Let's make it 3 years. I think it's 3 years ICT now in total. But yeah, for me, the game changer. So stick to it, and really, you'll be fine. Stick to it. Keep studying, and I consider myself a lifelong student of the markets. Like, you know, it will never be done really getting all the knowledge that you want. There's so much to learn. But I love it. I love tape reading as well, and I just love looking at charts. Yeah. So basically, it's my aunt that got me into it, and then you start getting interested, and now I don't see myself doing anything else anymore. I just love it. I mean, for me, markets are. And I've only traded NQ so far. Since I got into ICT, I moved to, since I got profitable, I just moved to NQ. And like I say, I've been trading NQ for 3 years now. But I do want to branch out to gold and, start, but I'm so comfortable with NQ. I just know the level, you just, once you get to know an instrument, it's, yeah, it just feels very comfortable, I guess. But gold is on my to-do list to get into that as well, and maybe do some analysis on that too, because a lot of people nowadays are trading gold. I hear other people in the chat as well are interested in gold, so that's also the main reason, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, so it's my aunt. She's very old now, bless her. So it's basically my aunt that got me into it. So then. He thinks the ball kept on. How about you? How did you get into it? So I want to show something. Okay. That's really funny. I want to say we're going to 9/11. 9/11. 24 9/11. You might not get there in one line, but it's going to go there today. 9/12ish. Now, are we going to stop at 9/88? Eight, 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 eight. I mean, so if you calculate this area here, the manipulation move. So I tried it off the 2 o'clock, the 2 a.m. Well, let me rephrase. I noticed when I started doing London streams, like every time there was an awesome move at 2 a.m., right? Here again, 2 a.m. But what I just want to point out is before we went higher, this is the manipulation move. So if you calculate this move, right, on your charts, just use the wick, the body to the body. So on the 5 minute, so basically you use the manipulation move on Fridays, this week. Now, I trade AMD, so accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So what you can see here, this is the accumulation, the manipulation, and here's the distribution, right to the upside. So we are clearly in a, I've been bullish all week already last week, but we just had a, it was very compressed. It just, the price action was pretty hard last week. But you can see it here clearly, accumulation and manipulation, and we're in the distribution move now on the higher time. But if you want to get some information on how far and what to expect is you measure this from this body to body. So you take the black candles, the manipulation to the downside. Yes, you had time distortion. This was very confusing price action. But the lunch, after the lunch, it went up. So I managed to take the lunch trade to the top upside because I was already bullish all the time, even Thursday. But it got I was red 2 days because I was like, no, we're bullish. I don't get it. But it was just really very highly manipulated price. But if you this is the range you want to Friday manipulation to the downside. Mm. And then you'll see that so I add so I'll give some little secret of mine that I use. So what I use as well, so obviously we all know the fib levels, right? 2.5%, 0.51. But what I use, especially for retracement, is the 1.25 and the 1.75. So uh, yeah, so just add those to your fib levels. Just see what backtest that. Go into your chart, and if you have manipulation moves like those. So we're in the distribution now from that manipulation move, and yeah, just see if it hits the 1.25, which is 9. If I say because I said, oh, we're going to 9, 10, 24, 9, 10. Yeah, just see if what happens to it. If it reacts at that level. It's going to go higher, but it's most likely will reject there. We have a weekly high now where it's tapping in. It already tapped in that. That was the 890, right? Are we there already? Oh, I'm talking so much. Okay. Oh, read it. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I'm already going. Good. You see how it's really slowly crawling up, and for me, it's just. So Emily, I also have a specific models that I use, time-based models called my 10-4, for example. It's a completely mechanical trade. So I have models which are really very mechanical. So they are really, they give me zero stress almost. And those are AM, New York AM models that I use. Um, So yeah, that makes it just, you know, having as much information as you can on your toolbox, and then trying to get mechanical trades that are based on time. And then also obviously you need some sort of setup, but then I want 3 or 4 confluences. If I have a good trade, I need at least 3 or 4 confluences. SMT is one of them, by the way. SMT, time, specific fib levels as well. I need to see a specific construction. It's always if then, and then they have to, you know, they have to add. It's not one thing only. It's always like a combination of multiple things that I look for in my trades. And yeah. So I use many time frames. I use at the end of the month. Let's say when we're in the when we reach the midpoint of a month, I look at the monthly again. But I look literally. I start the weekend. I look at the weeklies to start my higher time frame analysis, and dailies as well. If there's any specific monthly models, I do note them. Then on the day itself, the ones that I use the 4-hour a lot during the day, and then I scroll between the 4-hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 5 minute, 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 1 minute and 30 seconds. If I have my trading view, but you know, so what's going on with my trading view? I can show that I can go on trading view, but it's delayed data, and I know some people have don't have data, so I want to show the price. But so I live in South Africa, and they blocked my international payments. So I don't have any updated, so no data on the live data. I couldn't pay the bill. It sounds ridiculous, but so I'm still fighting the bank, and it'll be okay from the 1st again. So that's in 2 days. So that's why I use this screen now. Otherwise, I'll use my trading view, and I can show everything. But I just don't want to go to the delayed data because it might confuse a few people on the chat, because I know they don't have the live data. So I scroll through those a lot because 4 hours, like what's a 4-hour doing, right? Especially I'm already considering, okay, it's 5 a.m. now, so we have 1 more hour on the 4-hour, and then if you look at the 4-hour, I can show you here. Let's go to the 4-hour here. How I would look at it. So now you see we have bullish order flow, right? So what I'm thinking now, okay, we have these 4-hour equal highs here. Now, I don't know if you know the concept of external liquidity to internal liquidity. If we take out these highs here, right, on the 4-hour, which we could do in this hour, then that's considered external liquidity. Then we go back into the range to get internal liquidity, because liquidity always goes from external to internal, external to internal. It's just a cycle that continues. So if it on the 4-hour takes out these highs here, it's very likely that we go back into this fair value gap. But talking about, so if I look at the 4-hour and I think, okay, that is equal on the 4-hour because it's higher time frame. It's also equal. You can see it on the 15-minute as well. But because this is so significant, and we have a fair value gap here, this might be a very a good area of rejection after taking this high and then going back into the range. And it's Monday as well, right? So we could go back into Friday's range. Well, technically this is not Friday's range. This is created after we opened. But anyway, we could go back in today's range, in today's Asia sessions range. So how do I use them? So I have different tabs on TradingView, and I've got different things on them that I use. So I have different data. I also use the monthly contract, but also the continuous. So the continuous contract. Do you have TradingView, by the way? So I use continuous contract for my higher time frame analysis. But here you see, if it would take out these highs, then I might be, but then I still would watch, like, hey, is it gonna be enough, or does it go up to these ones before it goes down? But yeah, we have a little gap here, right? and we don't. It overlaps, right? Am I correct? No, it doesn't. But yeah, this is an interesting area. Then again, you also have to be careful when you have large wicks. Wicks are rejection blocks. So if a wick like this, like maybe it doesn't take it out at once, right? Because you know it's you have one here lower and here one. So what could happen is that it goes to a percentage of the wick and then go back before it, and then it takes it out, right? So that's something also you need to take into consideration, because you still have this area. This is still, you have this fair value gap here on the 4 hour, and we went into half of it, but there's still a little gap open, right? Yeah, this is open. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to. So it depends on the day. On Wednesday, I go over the weekly profile. So I look what have we done so far, and then I have specific weekly profiles that help me look at my bias. But obviously, you can still be wrong, but it gives you some guidance. And if you're wrong, you'll figure it out very fast the day after. So I look at weekly profiles on Wednesday. Like, did we make a Tuesday low? Did we make a Tuesday high? Last week, for example, was very interesting. We didn't have any Tuesday low or high. We had inside days, and that doesn't happen a lot on Tuesday. So then you already know, okay, it's very highly manipulated. And then we had a Wednesday low, and normally that is then a bullish profile, but it wasn't really bullish until Friday after lunch, for example. So yeah, no, I scroll a lot through Times, and I use a lot just to get more information on it. And I use the 15-minute. That's one of the most that I use. Or during the day, I refer back to that. But now, if you look at the 4 hour, you want to see those highs, and you want to see, okay, how much is this gap? Because this gap is already filled, right, for partially. So you have a little bit of leftover of the gap. But this is external liquidity, right? So and if it does take it out and you see it goes back into the range, then you look at because you're looking at a 4 hour range. You want to also look at the 4 hour. If you go from external to internal, you want to look on the same time frame where it took the external liquidity from. But that can be a little bit confusing because on the daily you'll see it as well. Let's go to the daily. So let's see, 9:13, right? Let's go to the daily. Now, let's say on the daily, you also see this level, right? But you don't see the fair value gap. So that's why if I would see, for example, this daily high right here. So I see, okay, oh, we might go for this high. I can't see anything here. So then what I do, I go one time frame lower. So for example, then I go to the 4 hour, and then I see this fair value gap on the 4 hour. So in that case, I would think, okay, if we don't go up to this level straight away, what could the market do if it doesn't go, if it goes from external to internal? It could go from here, if that's enough for it, and go back into this one here before it goes back up. That's possible, but also, yeah, this is also a bullish order block here. Are you still, yeah, Emily, I want to show you something else in the 4 hour, talking about breakers. Now, let's talk about breakers. Why I love the breaker. And I'm actually I will be looking for a long from this area now. See, that's why I love being online and talking about this, because I miss things, and because hold on. This is a breaker, and a breaker is a filled order block because it has been broken through. That's all it is. Let me just get rid of these. Okay. You see these two those pink ones, right? Why is it a breaker? So high frequency orders, when price going down, smart money is buying already in because they know there will be a turn here. So this is a high frequency. They're already getting long because they cannot fill their orders all the way here because we're talking about millions of dollars. So they're already buying in. They're getting long here. Those are those order blocks. But when is this breaker now? When is it a breaker? Because it is broken through with this candle. It is the high is above this high, and it's also a fair value gap. We call that, as in ICT land, a unicorn. It's a fair value gap and a breaker. So I would like to see a retest of this area and then go long, because this is a springboard, and we haven't had any retest on the 4-hour. This is how I use the breaker, but you can see that on the lower time frame as well. It's fractal, but if you see it on the 4-hour, so then what I'm going to do now is investigate this area, because obviously you want to make it a little bit smaller, right? But now I have, for me, it's also confidence that, okay, on the 4-hour we didn't have a retest of this breaker, of this fair value gap, but also it's a breaker here, so I'm very curious about. So for me, there is no long until this area has been retested. So that's my entry for long today. Yeah. So I'm just gonna let this, this price action is just trickling up. So I'll just wait. I'm just gonna wait because I might take a short because it's highly likely it's gonna go into this area. But yeah, just watch. If it mark these levels, these highs, and then it's going to be external to internal, and then we go from internal back to external, and then we have these highs here, right? So that's a scenario. It could just take everything out at once. I don't know, but let's say it just takes this out, then goes back into the range, and then it takes that out. So we'll see. But yeah, so I use sometimes on stream you don't see everything behind the screens, but I look a lot at different times just to get more information, to zoom out. For me, it's important to zoom out. And sometimes when we have difficult markets, I do trade from the 30 seconds and 15 seconds. Well, not 15. I think, no, I trade, I don't go lower than 30 seconds. But yeah. And here we go again in consolidation, you see. We don't want that. So yeah, but during the day, I think the higher time frame you want to do, you'll try to do that before the trading day starts, and then you mark the most important levels, which, especially when you begin, you want to simplify it as much as possible. Just try to have the weekly high, daily highs, and then some session highs. You can mark them if you have trading view. And if you do the beginning of the week, you already have some of those days. But daily highs, lows, session high, and weekly high lows are very important. And then during the day, just keep an eye on the 15 minutes. That's good enough, I think. But do mark those higher time frame, fair value gaps. If it suddenly starts slamming down, you already have, there's 4-hour fair value gap down there. Okay, and what did we do before we go down? Did we take external liquidity? Did we take a daily high or low, or a weekly high or low, right? If you know that, you already know, okay, we took out a daily high yesterday or a week ago or whatever, and then you think, okay, external liquidity, so what's the next step? Internal. So then we go to a fair value gap, right? Because internal liquidity is fair value gaps, imbalances, and external liquidity is like daily high, weekly highs, monthly highs, and things like that. So yeah, so keep an eye on those levels and keep those 4-hour fair value gaps and mark that on your chart. It's a unicorn. We've got a fair value gap and a breaker on the 4-hour. And then zoom in on the lower time frame before it slams down, because I think there's going to be a low resistance liquidity run. So you're already prepared either to take a short to it, but also if you missed the short, then you're already, F that, I don't care. I'm going to go long from there, especially if it didn't take out those other highs, right? So let's go back to the 4-hour. So for example, let's say it's going to do it pre-market and you're just in the gym or you're just doing something else. Let's say it takes out this level here, right? And then it goes down and you miss this. And you're like, oh shit, I knew it and blah, blah, blah. Well, if it's going to reject here, who cares if you miss this move to the down? If it didn't take out these highs, if these are equal as well, you're just going to prepare yourself to take it along from here all the way back up, right? So that's how I use the higher time frame analysis. And then you zoom in, obviously, because it's quite a big range in the 4 hour. But yeah. And it's NFP week, so we want to be done with most of our trading before Wednesday, New York Open. But then again, you know, there could be still good trades, to be honest. Depends on how it books. And we had some really weird weeks the last 2 weeks, which are really, so I'm like, maybe it's not going to be that bad. And yeah, so I hope that helps a little bit. Yeah, I'm quite excited for today and tomorrow and Wednesday. I love what I'm seeing so far. Again, it feels like NQ got some laxatives, and it's finally going to go to the upside. And Emily, talking about a rejection block, I call this a rejection block, and you see here this wick, it rejects in this wick. So this is a rejection block, and if you start utilizing them, you'll see a lot of things on your charts that will help you identify and understand why price doesn't go all the way down instantly through the low of this. It will make, this is a gap, right? It will treat it as such. So it will have a lot of well, not a lot, maybe 1 or 2, and then this becomes a liquidity. But before that, it's a rejection block. If you see large wicks, consider them a rejection block, which means it will retrace from there, right? Because also this is a higher time frame, so it is a higher time frame wick. Yeah, I can talk about this for hours because I just love, you know, and it's all logical, and so, you know, and if you grade these, you will see sometimes it goes to a quarter, 1/3, and then it goes back up, and then it goes again lower, and then it just hits the 50%, and then it goes back up. But you'll start seeing, okay, it's been in that wick now 2 or 3 times, but now you see clear, you know, it didn't go even to half, and it's going up, and we've got equal highs, so it's a very bullish profile. Like, I've been bullish, you know, even though it went down here, I was already, and you know, it's just, you know, when I saw this already here, and this was this Friday or Thursday, even though it was a down day, I was like, yeah, but we're not done yet. It doesn't leave these, you know, it's just not done. We should have a wick, you know, if it really, and, you know, where's your breaker here? Well, what is my breaker? I don't have a breaker here to go down, you know, to make it like really clear to me. There's no breaker on this side for me, and we need a breaker. Yeah, no, and this is IOFAD, right? Institutional order flow here, entry drill, boom, and look at this, boom, on the higher time frame. We're so bullish. I mean, so even if we go down into this zone, I'm not bearish, but I expect a move to the downside, but I'm still bullish. So that's the difference. But now this is a breaker. So why is it a breaker? You have a low, high, lower low. So it's a sweep, and it's broken through. So this is a filled order block. But this order block means smart money already got in their position because they know what's coming, and they can't fill all their orders here. So that's why they're already buying in, and that's why they are bullish order blocks. It's not because it's not really buying and selling pressure. It's just high frequency orders that are already getting in because they can't buy in because they have too much orders resting. They can't get in at the turn, so they know the move, what's coming. So also, like, you know, I'm already thinking we still have to create our like if you look on the downside, right, what will be your bearish breakers in the future? Now that's going to be one of these, right? When we go up, we need to have a sweep, and then we go down, but we might have a better one coming. But yeah. So, well, let's see. I'm going to leave it at here because I need to do some stuff. Um, you know, just look into it and be prepared for that move that comes down and for that scenario. Like, okay, if that happens, but also be prepared. Like, if it goes through this level, if it goes higher, if you start seeing that it passes through this level, you know, if it goes over here, you want to prepare yourself to take out, you know, then you're like, okay, we already went over here, it's still bullish, we're not going back into the range, I'm going to target this. So then you also, like, you know, try to get it into this area here to maybe take this move here. Because if it's going to be a trend day, it's going to go into price discovery, and then it's a little bit, that might be a little bit challenging as well. Oh, you're in Australia. Wow. Okay, that's nice. AM session as well. Maybe start even a little bit earlier in the pre-market, because it might be interesting, and then we'll take it from there. So yeah, I hope it was helpful, and let me know if you have any more questions, because I can help anyway. For now, yeah, and if you have anything specifically you want me to go over in a specific session, like a breaker or a rejection block or anything else, you know, I don't really mind, because if it's a topic that sometimes there are topics that I even need to refresh on myself, and then I quickly have to go. Like, I still watch T-Trade sometimes. Like, oh, but what's it about? How does he use a specific order, you know, just an order block on its own? you know, it's just sometimes the easy things you need a refresher again because you're getting into new stuff and then you forget, you know. So that's just a cycle of learning. That's why I call myself a lifelong student of the market, because you know it never ends, and your brain gets older as well. I mean, you know, at some point when you get older, you know, you have to need glasses and your brain doesn't work as fast. No, as long as it works, right? Now I'm just joking. But anyway, okay, guys, I want to thank you so much for hanging out and being active in the chat and yeah, being part of the journey. And I'm looking forward to continue that and to yeah. Yeah, thank you, Emily. I love it, and thank you for being. I love having new females. I mean, I was really this weekend. I was like, why are there no females here? And now you are suddenly you pop up. So I'm really happy about that. So yeah, thank you so much for subscribing. That's actually really weird. Did it pop up on the screen? Because I do have a if someone subscribed, it should give a pop-up like, hey, welcome, thank you for subscribing. Did you see that on the screen, by the way? Hey, Matrixie, see you tomorrow. Nice having you around. Thank you so much. I made actually the video that I made is in honor from all you guys, by the way. So because of the first subscribers, those are the, when you just start your channel, those are the special ones. Especially when you start from zero. I didn't tell any friends or family or my trading buddies because I just really wanted to do, you know, I know if you tell family and friends, it doesn't really help the algo anyway. So you guys are really my first, yeah, the first people that signed up and were, you know, and it's really, I cannot tell you how that really, yeah, how that feels, to be honest, but it's really nice. I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later, and I'll see you tomorrow, Mether, and all the other ones. I'll see you later or tomorrow or another time. And again, I appreciate you being here. Thank you.